Here's my question. Are you willing to do the work? That's my question. And to be specific, are you willing to do the shadow work that it takes? Because a lot of times when you think about like the shadow work, you think about the darkness, you think about the side of you that's the most ugliest. You think about the parts of you that's so unhealed, so damaged, so wounded, um, so unlovable, so just messed up. And that is my question. It's like, are you willing to do the shadow work though? Because you can't even fully be who you are until you're ready to integrate both of these together in order to be exactly who God needs you to be and who you need to be for yourself, most of all. So, not everybody is up to do the shadow work because the shadow work requires you to get down and ugly. The shadow work requires you to go to those places within yourself that's so unhealed. The shadow work requires you to go to that place of darkness and wounds and traumas that you did everything possible to hide from. The shadow work requires you to look at the unhealed parts of you. The shadow work is going to require you to really go deep within yourself internally. The shadow work is going to require you to see yourself and not nobody else. The shadow work is going to require you not to point your finger outward, but to take those fingers and point it inward. Because what was it that you didn't do? What areas, I'm sorry, phone went out. What areas within yourself that's so unhealed that you never even dealt with throughout life? The shadow work will require you to give up a part of yourself that you've been using to protect yourself with. And the shadow work will require you to come to terms with choices, decisions, and things that we chose to step into. The shadow work will require you to have to fully see yourself in such a raw, naked way that you can't hide from it. And that's why I say everybody is not up for the task of doing the shadow work. Because it's ugly, it's messy, it's ugly, messy, it's just unhealed. It's just the ugliest parts of you. That's all the shadow work is. It's just the ugliest parts of you. And some people don't want to go to the ugliest parts of who they are because it's too much. It's too much to deal with. It's too much to even work through. So they choose not to. And they choose to remain who they are. So that's my question. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to do the work when it comes to your shadow side? When it comes to your darkness, are you willing to do the work so that your darkness and your light can be integrated into one and used in a more powerful way? That's my question. And even when you look throughout the Bible, every single person in that Bible had to learn how to go into the depths of their darkness in order to integrate that with their light. Even when you looked at Peter, and I don't know if this story resonates, but even when Jesus told Peter that you would deny me 3 times, and Peter denied Jesus. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. And Jesus already spoken into existence before Peter did it. And if you look in the Bible, this is just me paraphrasing it, but Peter was such in a place of darkness because he betrayed the one person that meant the world to him. But that was part of Peter's darkness. And Peter had to sit. Peter had to sit in his darkness. Like Peter literally had to sit in that shame. Peter had to sit. Peter had to sit in his guilt. Peter had to sit in the hurt. Peter had to sit with the fact that he denied Jesus. The guilt, the shame, the misery, the darkness that he allowed to take over him to do that. Like Peter had to really sit in that. Peter had to sit with the fact that he allowed his ego and his pride to overtake him, to make him be so impulsive and do the things he did. Like Peter had to sit with all of his shit. Like Peter had a lot of shit going on within him, a lot of darkness. Peter had to sit in that shit. And when it was time, I'm sorry, y'all. There was a text message I had to look at. I'm sorry, y'all. But when you look at it, Peter was literally had to sit in his darkness. Like Peter had to sit with all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't talk about Peter in the Bible. And I noticed that. But Peter, like, he was the impulsive disciple. Peter ran totally off of his impulses and in his ego and his pride. You know, and even in the Bible it says pride before the fall. See, Peter was just that type. But then it's like Peter got to a point where all of his darkness, all of that shadow work, all of the shit that was sitting inside of Peter that was nothing but shadow work, it was now coming up to the surface. So that's just one example of somebody, just even it resonates to understand the Bible and how that's how Peter was. And so that is my question. Is like a lot of people are not willing to go to that space of the shadow work because it's too much pain. So people will remain who they are, unhealed, wounded, damaged, broken. And then you'll consistently go out there and break and hurt other people because it's still this part of you that's so unhealed and damaged that you're not willing to heal. And so you continue to keep passing on these unhealed, wounded, painful experiences that you've had, and you pass that on to other people. So that's my question. Are you willing to do the shadow work? The ugly part of you. And you hear people say, yeah, I'll do it. But it's something when you get in it. And it's something when you have now got into that part of you. And then you got to deal with everything that's coming up in you now.